What if I were to tell you that there is a perfect character for multiverses out there that would greatly benefit from being added to multiverses, but the game Multiverses would also massively impact this specific character on what they can do and what they can show off and what they are all about? And then what if I told you that this character doesn't even have their own show or their own movie? Well, then you're probably wondering who the hell I'm talking about. How is there a perfect character that doesn't have their own show or their own movie, right? Well, this mystery character happens to be none other than Pibby from Learning with Pibby. Okay, now hear me out. Pibby is the perfect character for multiverses for numerous reasons. Moveset, popularity, what she can bring with her into Multiverses, the game. And we're going to go over all this stuff. But again, she's very popular. She has an insane moveset potential, which we will go over in this video, kind of briefly, but great moveset potential for her character. Plus, Multiverses in-game can even design an entire season around Pibby with the glitch and corrupted characters, which I have my own tiny concept, and we'll go over that as well. But let's start with Pibby and her popularity because, well, people care if the character that gets added to the game is popular. Well, is she? Absolutely she is. So back in 2021, the first Learning with Pibby short aired, and it amassed, to this day, 36 million views. That's a lot of views. Then again, a few months later in, I believe, April of 2022, I believe this was an April Fool's video, or at least uploaded on April Fool's Day, but in 2022, we got yet another Pibby short, and so many people were clamoring, we want Learning with Pibby, this needs to be a show. Well then, the baffling decision shortly came after that, where Adult Swim announced that the Learning with Pibby show would not be greenlit, at least for the time being, which ended up causing a massive uproar amongst fans. But very recently, a couple months ago, there was an interesting little update that popped up with Pibby, and this is how it can kind of tie into multiverses somewhat. You just roll with me on this. So a few months ago, in the trademark event, look, check this out. There is an event that is listed as case assigned to intent to use paralegal. Now, what does that mean? All right, bunch of legal jargon. Okay, what that ultimately means is the Learning with Pibby, there is an intent to use said character, said franchise, maybe in terms of a show, maybe in terms of other ways, merchandising, maybe video games possibly. So there is an intent to use, but maybe not the immediate future, but the near future, or, you know, somewhere in the far future. But there is intent to use this, which is where her being added to multiverses can really bring a lot of attention to her as a character, plus her show, and it can show off what she's all about. And what she's about is, well, in terms of a moveset at least, she's got numerous things, right? She doesn't have a show, doesn't even have a movie, but check this out. First up, what about I'll call it a love beam, but she picks up this bear and she fires out these multiple colored heart-shaped projectiles. This is like a perfect neutral special, right? She fires out love beams, you know, she's trying to spread love to everybody. So this would be perfect, a great attack for Pibby if she were to be playable in multiverses. But then she's also got some other kick-ass attacks, such as, I'm going to call it an energy rifle. I don't even know what to call this, but it's another projectile type of attack that would be, well, I think this would deal like massive damage. I get flashbacks. Anybody that's played PlayStation All-Stars, anybody play Colonel Raddick? You remember his sniper? The thing that like went across the entire stage? I kind of get that same sort of vibe. This thing would be pretty heavy on startup leg, but fire across the entire stage, deal massive damage, but then have pretty significant end leg as well to kind of help balance the attack. But this would be a massive, big, you know, one of those high risk, high reward kind of attacks. If you miss it, you're going to be sit and duck, but if you hit it, mwah, perfect attack. But another one in the same clip, you see she's got the Acme rocket strapped to her back, so there's her up special. She can just boost her right on up, you know, fly straight through the air, so that'd be perfect. Maybe, I don't know, she jumps out of the rocket, but the Acme rocket continues going upwards just a little bit more and then explodes, or maybe just explodes on impact, causing damage and whatnot. But there's another idea. Then of course we've seen her with the sword as well, so why not give her the sword as maybe her dash attack? And this is where she can kind of just do like a little run forward And then, you know, when you press the attack button, she does like a big sword slash, you know, or uppercut with the sword, whatever it might be. Something with the sword. Swords are easy to do, right? So there's a lot of moveset potential. Even in one of the images for Multiverse, she has a chainsaw. So throw that in the moveset if you want to. But the point is, she's popular. She has moveset. But what else can she do? What else can benefit her from being added to Multiverses? Well, that's where a future season in Multiverses themed around the glitch and corrupted characters comes in. So I imagine it like this. Individual rift nodes, you know, like at the end you get like certain bosses or whatever. What if you can have bosses, like for example, maybe it's you versus wave after wave of corrupted characters. Maybe it's like a multi-man melee kind of deal, and you have to fight, I don't know, 20, 30, 50 of these corrupted fighters. And of course, the corrupted fighters are going to be, or could be, eventual costumes for characters in the game. And we've seen characters that have this corrupted look already, such as Bugs Bunny. I think we get to see Finn and Jake in there. Who else do we got? I believe Shaggy and Velma. Scooby's in there as well, but you know, Scooby's not officially confirmed yet. But if he comes in, you got a corrupted costume for Scooby. I think there's even one for the Powerpuff Girls, or maybe one of them, or maybe all three. I don't quite remember, but Powerpuff Girls have one. So Fred Flintstones, there's so many characters that could have a corrupted version. So you could take that, and throughout these fights, you know, you're fighting corrupted versions of the characters. Kind of like how, you know, the Matrix skins in the game. You know, some characters, one of the rifts for that had a bunch of characters with the rifts, with the corrupted costume. So it's something similar to that, right? But then we could also take this one step further and give her her own small in-game events where players can earn free corrupted character costumes, right? So we had the Batman versus Joker event earlier this year, a couple weeks ago, I believe. But in that event, you know, you picked I guess you didn't really pick a side, but you did all the challenges, and you ended up unlocking like a character that has this simple design. And I think that's all this would be. Simple designs, corrupted versions. I don't think it'd be too chaotic, but it's just something a little bit different that you can apply to like pretty much any and every character on the roster. Or again, if it's just a mini event and it's only a part of certain nodes or certain rift battles, maybe only a partial portion of the roster has these costumes. But the point is, Multiverses can add this character and then bring in that entire show, which technically doesn't really exist yet, but they're able to pull from something that isn't real, but they can make it even more real than it already is. So Pibby, with the possibility of her getting into Multiverses, I truly believe she's like the perfect kind of character. You get a character, you can make seasons after her, you can help get more exposure for her and her show, which again, people wanted to see. So if people wanted to see that, and then say she gets a pretty positive reaction once she gets added to Multiverses, maybe Adult Swim, maybe whoever's in charge of all that, maybe they can fast track the Learning with Pibby show, and we can all get that. And plus, it can just bring future content into the game as well. Future battle passes or just random content drops, whatever it might be. But Pibby, in my opinion, perfect character for Multiverses.